Arabella needs to find shame. Hey! Your ex is here to perform on Love Island. You're still looking for love. Oh God, what a life. Oh, rise, oh compatriots, Nigeria's call to serve our father's land. Nigeria is in the semi-finals of AFCON, so we need to start off the review by just letting you people know we day inside. What? Anyway, hi guys. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing okay and everyone is doing well. Guys, Nigeria know they carry last. There is a God in heaven. Guys, honestly, initially, I can't even tell you. I'm in such a good mood because Nigeria is actually in the semi-finals. But anyway, another day, another Love Island review. So as I usually, I always say number one, please get cozy and comfy. No, I don't. I say number one, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Number two, be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SarahDestinyX. And number three, please get cozy and comfy with your hot Ribena and your Nigerian flag. And let's get into today's review. Guys, I don't know, today's episode wasn't necessarily the greatest, but Nigeria's in the semi-finals, so we're going to bring the vibes. So let's start off with the islanders speaking about Kaz. You guys know in yesterday's review, we mentioned the fact that Kaz is probably back in the UK. All of us in the comments literally had the same point of view and feedback, i.e. it definitely was Kaz's time to go. There was no one in that villa for her. I won't lie guys, the lack of diversity this season is very interesting because the episode today was given dry, okay? But let's see what we can do. Of course, Tom and Molly were having a conversation because you guys know Molly was crying when Kaz got dumped. I'm in such a good mood, wow. Anyway, you guys knew that Molly was crying when Kaz got dumped because they were actually quite close, and even Tom said, oh, you guys were quite close, weren't you? And then he spoke to her about the fact, you know, in his speech, he did say, you know, he wanted to be exclusive and everything. The truth of the matter is it was very interesting. You guys know we be reading into everything and anything on this channel when we do these reviews, but I feel like Molly's body language towards Tom seems very do you know what I mean? Very questionable. So let's see how things go over the next couple of days. Now let's move on to Georgia S and Callum having a conversation. All I gotta say is I just need Georgia's for rest. That's it. I just need Georgia's for rest. So she was speaking to Callum about, oh, you know, I felt like it was just time to like speak with you regarding everything. And you know what? The thing with me and Tobes is that, you know, Tobes has literally had my back in here, like through thick and thin, up the wall, down the wall, all the way. Guys, I don't know what it is with her, but anyway, yeah. The truth of the matter is she did say, you know, oh, I do hope that we still can be friends. And Callum was like, yeah, that's fine. But I feel like Callum doesn't actually care. I mean, you could definitely see in the response, in the side hug, he actually doesn't care anymore. So I think Georgia's definitely living rent-free in his head, or she thinks she is anyway, but she really isn't. Now let's move on to Sophie and Josh. Not much to discuss other than the fact that they said what happened was probably a test. I don't know what it is, but whenever they show them on my screen, I'm just like, huh. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know how I feel about any couple this season. That's just the reality. It's not even that I'm trying to pick on anyone. I don't know how I feel about any couple this season. So it makes sense as to why the season is ending next week. Now let's move on to Joanna talking to Arabella. No, should I even say talking, whispering? Because I don't know what it is with that babe. Her and Arabella went on the terrace and she was like, the truth of the matter is that I like Chris. I do, but I just feel like it's just a bit much for me. And I just don't know if our personalities are aligned. Like, I don't know why she's always whispering. Like, I don't understand. But of course she was mainly complaining at the fact that Chris is actually really jokey and everything, and the plot twist was the fact that she doesn't know what it is, but now all of a sudden she likes Callum, which is very interesting because yesterday you were 100% Chris, and from that 100% you managed to pluck a couple percent for Josh, and now all of a sudden Callum is, oh yeah, I don't know what it is, I just feel like me and Callum, it's just babe, it's actually okay. But she started crying, which I didn't really understand, and I'm not a heartless person, you guys know this, but I didn't really understand the point or the need for the tears. But Arabella of course did advise her that she does need to do her best to just do what she does, because at the end of the day it's your experience in the villa, you need to make the most out of it. But I just felt like the tears were just kind of a bit unnecessary. But the truth of the matter is Joanna has the ick, and that's just that. Now let's move on to Toby now talking to Chris about their trio with Kaz now being a line because clearly only him and Chris are now in the villa. And he also did say that he is happy that Chris and Joanna are really getting to know each other, and he can really see Chris opening up. One thing I would say is Toby, for me, in my opinion, is definitely a very good friend to people in the villa when he does rock with them. He was a very good friend to Kaz. He's clearly been a very good friend to Chris, and he must really know Chris to be able to see, oh, I can see that you really like this girl, you're really opening up. So it was nice for Toby to be there for Chris as well, but we also know things happen towards the end of the episode, so we'll get into that too. Let's move on to Callum and Jess. Not much to discuss, they're just having a conversation. And yeah, and also Casey and Eve as well. They were just having a conversation. Okay, cool. Now let's move on to Joe. And by the way, guys, this review, I don't even know how long it's going to be, because I don't think it's going to be long, because there wasn't really much that happened today. It was kind of a lackluster episode, but we've got to do these reviews regardless. Cool. Moving on to Joe and Arabella. She was saying that she was very shocked at his speech. I'm like, babe, you're not the only one. We were shocked as well. Mainly because, you know, he was like, oh, I don't want to step on people's toes, but you have to do that when you're in this villa. You got to put yourself first. This girl is beautiful. She's this, she did. I genuinely thought he was going to say Molly, because you haven't really stepped on anyone's toes to get to Arabella, babe. I can tell you that for free. But she seemed really happy, and of course, you guys know they ended up sharing a kiss. Moving on. Oh, by the way, they also have history. I think we mentioned this in yesterday's review as well, but they apparently dated. I think they had a fling like 3 or 5 years ago, something along those lines. Small world, small villa, because everyone seems to have done something with somebody else. Now let's move on to the nighttime. Not much to discuss other than the fact that Chris tried to kiss Joanna, and she basically was like, oh no. And then at night he was like, is everything okay? And she was like, yeah, I feel like I just need to sleep. And you can always tell when someone basically doesn't want you anymore. Like in a relationship, in a situationship, their vibe is always going to be off. So I feel like Chris 100% was reading the room, and he was just trying his best to try and figure out what was wrong. But we already know Joanna has the ick. And once you have the ick is unickable. Everyone and their mum knows that. Now, moving on to the morning chats. Tom said he wants to fully be with Molly. Josh said that he's happy with Sophie, and Tobes and Jay. They were, sorry guys, I always have to talk like that when I mention her, because that's how she talks. But they were basically speaking about how, you know, they would have never expected to be together anymore, and that how much they're so happy that they're concentrating on themselves. They're definitely moving like they've been to war with everyone and their mum in order to be together. Like, this is a forbidden relationship, and now that we're in love, we need to look after each other, and we need to, that's the vibe is given, okay? But kudos to you guys, I guess. Now let's move on to Joanna now speaking to Georgia, Harrison and Arabella about the second thoughts that she had with Chris, and that she feels really bad because she doesn't want to change him, but that's how she feels. And yeah, 100%, you shouldn't want to change someone to try and fit the mold that you want in a partner. And obviously you have the ick, babe, so we can't tell you not to have the ick anymore. But Georgia H did say that, you know, she does need to take a step back. Initially, Joanna was actually quite worried at how Georgia S will, you know, be in terms of finding out that she wants to get to know Callum, and also Molly as well. But they were just like, to be honest, Molly actually really wants Callum to find someone, and Georgia S is in the clouds with Tobes, so there's no need for you to worry. But once again, I don't know, man. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I feel like Joanna's a bit weird. I think that's the vibe I'm getting, because even, was it yesterday or the day before? I forgot which one, but one of the episodes that recently went, you know, the whole situation with, oh, should I tell Sophie even after the deadline had passed? Like, I don't know, guys, it's just me. Are you team Joanna in this situation? I feel like it's not even necessarily team Joanna. I just don't know why she's acting like this. I don't know. And the whispers don't help. Okay, they really don't. Now let's move on to Joanna now pulling Callum for a chat. Not even a chat, a whisper. But of course she was saying that, you know, she's really drawn to him and she really wants to get to know him. And Callum pretty much said the same thing, that he's open and he isn't closed off. At the same time, Georgia S was with Chris and Toby and someone else. And she was just like, Chris, yeah, Joe, Cal, five it. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Has she spoken to you? She hasn't spoken to you. Oh my gosh, what's that about? Babe, what thing concern you? What thing concern you for real? Okay, like, I don't feel like I need to express my views of Georgia S this season to you guys anymore. I feel like you guys know. If you watch my reviews, then you know me and you know what I'm thinking in my head that I just can't be bothered to say, because it's tiring. Okay, it's so tiring. Of course, Chris was saying that he's too soft for this, and Toby was like, you know what, you do have to speak with her. Like, you know how you feel and everything. So that's that, but we'll get into that later as well, because they end up having another conversation. Now, Anton, of course, gets a text that there is going to be a VIP performance. And of course, they're going to send it to Anton when, lo and behold, who's coming to perform? Craig David. But not just Craig David, okay? He came with a special little guest. But you guys definitely remember when Anton cried on his season when Craig David came to perform. I'm sorry, Anton, that meme, oh, that meme is legendary. So of course, what made me laugh as well was, even while still getting ready, Anton went to, I think he went to the girls' room and he was just like, does anyone have bronzer? I mean, guys, Anton got ready to see his man today. Okay, Anton got ready to see his man today. What was really cute as well was, of course, Craig David came. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, like the vibe. If you don't know about Craig David, like Craig David he's a vibe, okay? We do not, no Craig David slander will be tolerated today. Okay, he's an OG and he's still an OG, so let's just stop there. But of course, what made me scream as well was even when he came to perform, Anton was like, obviously, yeah, like Craig, because Craig David went over to him to like, I think either spud him or give him like a handshake or a hug. And then in the confessionals, Anton's like, yeah, like he saw me, like, you know, he even acknowledged me, like, nah, guys, Anton. Anton is absolutely hilarious. I'm so sorry. What else? Of course, guys, it wasn't just Craig David that came to perform today. Also, Wes Nelson came. And guys, all I could say, Arabella needs to find shame. Hey! Your ex is here to perform on Love Island. You're still looking for love. Oh, God. What a life. Guys, Arabella was shy when she saw him. She was like, oh my God, that's awkward. That's my ex. Yeah, your ex has come to perform on a show that you're on for the second time trying to find love. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. That sounded way worse than it did in my head. I didn't mean it like that. I just mean like, it just goes to show how people's lives are just so different, even if you're placed in the same situation at the same time, if that makes sense. What, guys? I was so shy. Guys, I said, oh gosh, the producers, y'all had a bit of dip in that chip for me. I loved it. Okay, cool. Anything else? Yes. So now let's move on to Anton taking the mic after Craig David left. Oh, guys, I was so shy. Why didn't no one grab that mic from his hands? Why did no one grab the mic from his hand? So Anton now gets the mic. He's just like, I just want to say I love all you guys here. Like, I just love this. I'm so happy to be here with you guys and everything. And then he then said, you guys know I love my speeches, my poems. I just said, oh my God, please don't tell me he's going to speak about Georgia H. Oh my gosh, please don't tell me he's going to speak about Georgia H. Yeah, he spoke about Georgia H. And lo and behold, they ended up being exclusive. You guys know exclusive does not mean girlfriend and boyfriend. But in Love Island, it means you're at the stage of hopefully crossing over very soon. But yeah, guys, last but not least, we'll move on to Arabella, Georgia H, and Joanna once again speaking about the situation with Chris. And what was so sad, guys, was, oh, guys, this was so sad. But I actually felt bad for Chris towards the end of today's video, guys. I had to put my hand up, I won't lie, because maybe, I get he does have a really jokey personality, and you guys know he always says these certain things and everything, but he generally does seem like a nice guy. And he was even like to Toby, like, oh, this is how you end up 33 and single. And Toby was like, oh, don't say that, bro. And he's just like, no, but it's true. I actually did feel sorry for him during that moment as well, because clearly he was really happy getting to know Joanna, and all of a sudden Joanna has just done a complete 360 as well. Of course, moving on. Anything else? Yeah, so Joanna now ended up pulling Chris for a chat, and she firstly apologized, like, you know, I'm just really sorry. I know I've been a bit distant. I know this has happened, blah, blah, blah. And then he was just like, yeah, like, you have been like, what's up? Since I gave my speech to you on the recoupling, all of a sudden you just like, is it me? Am I the problem? And what was really sad was you could tell that Chris was really trying to figure out from Joanna, like, what have I done? What can I do? But then mid-convo, he's just thinking, at the end of the day, I can't change who I am, and maybe you are more better suited for Callum, and maybe I'm just not your person. And yeah, it just was a bit sad, I won't lie. It was a bit like, but at the same time, was he laying it? Do you guys feel like Chris was laying it on thick with Joanna? I feel like they were going at a good pace based on the script and based on the scenes that they showed us. I didn't feel like it was a bit awkward. I felt like, if anything, Joanna's the one that just decided to do the switch up. But yeah, the truth of the matter is she has the ick, and once you have the ick is unickable. So yeah, that is that, guys. We didn't get a tomorrow night or a little glimpse, but I do feel like the video just seems a bit dry, if I'll be honest with you. So I don't really know how the storylines are going to progress over the next couple of days, especially because we know Love Island ends next week. But yeah, let me know how you found tonight's episode in the comment section below. If you're Nigerian, turn it up. Let me know, period. But yeah, guys, that is the end of today's review. I had to rush it, so sorry if I spoke really fast, because I actually need to go to bed because I need to be up very early tomorrow. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and definitely join the family. And also be sure to follow me on my Instagram and also on my Twitter. But other than that, have a lovely evening. God bless. And once again, Naija no dey carry last. Period. Bye.